live from New York. It's a show that is not allowed to switch their picks. Or we are allowed.
We are. There's just shame.
We are?
We've always been allowed.
From Mr. Take Integrity?
No, of course. You're allowed to do whatever you want. There is just shame associated with it. As evidenced by the fact when I switched my pick in the finals 5 years ago, and then the team I picked to ended up you're allowed. That's the pinnacle of pick switching, and it was a disaster. So
that
you're
would
always
be Boston and Golden
right.
State.
You're always allowed to do it. There is just immense shame associated with it. Okay. Oddly, when I switched my pick after game 1 of this series, Rockets-Lakers, there's no shame associated with it. I felt great. And I have felt outstanding.
It was shameful, though. It was a shameful
telling you,
move.
I have felt
It's like the Rock. It's like he never picked the Rockets.
Correct.
I picked it, but I immediately
changed. You know what? That is correct, and I feel awesome.
You know what? I loved Orlando all year. I was just waiting for him to get healthy.
But today, Wemby advances, and Shaq gives him an all-time great compliment.
Seriously.
Meanwhile, Russell Wilson to the Jets. Believe it or not, I think the Jets could be all right.
Oh,
they're on my all right
I know our
radar.
boss is here, and he's a Jets fan.
Look, they're on my all. No, I'm not saying they're going to be good, but they're flirting with all right.
They're on my team whose coach is most likely not to make it to Thanksgiving.
I don't want to know who else is on there. And finally, how high will the Lakers be on today's tiers? Shout out to LeBron. And shout out to us, to be honest with you.
Wow. For what?
Because there was a massive LeBron Jordan story just out there, and we felt like we did it enough.
Yeah. It was also, I thought, listen, LeBron did a long, year-long interview with David.
And it's a good article.
I thought
It was.
And I also thought LeBron was very deferential and mature in, when he was asked about the Jordan stuff. He's like, hey, I'm better at some stuff, he's better at some stuff. Both great players.
If it was a little hotter, we would have led with him.
That's right.
He was very.
Wow, he's a better scorer. Who's got the most points?
He said he hoped he had made Jordan proud.
I know.
And then snuck in there. I'd have no way of knowing if I did. Kind of reminding people like, hey, the guy doesn't really talk to me.
They should. I think they'll reconcile. Not that they're at odds, but I think they'll
talk to each other more.
Get the NASCAR team. We start in Boston. Celtics up, headed into the fourth. Then they score 11 total points, and they finish the game with 14 straight bricks, rolling on number 6. It's the largest playoff loss when leading, going into the fourth in franchise history. Embiid, meanwhile, played great. We're not even going to get to all 14. Here's Joel Embiid.
A lot of people might have takes of, that I might be lazy or whatever, but, every single time I'm on the floor, I want to play as hard as possible. I want to do whatever it takes to win a basketball game, whether it's on offense, on defense. I just want to enjoy these moments, just being part of a basketball team, that's trying to accomplish something, and that's to win every single game.
Okay. What's the number one story for you here? The Celtics lost or the Sixers won?
The number one story is the Celtics lost, but I do want to say something about Embiid. I'm happy for him. Mm-hmm. Listen, criticizing Embiid's even when healthy playoff performances is fair because he's a league MVP who's never made it out of round 2. He stands alone in that distinction. Because of that, he can be the subject of some fair scrutiny. What is also true is a lot of his playoff shortcomings or failures or whatever we want to call it have come down to his body has truly betrayed him on the level of more so than any superstar of his era, and maybe more so than anyone since Derrick Rose. And he does battle through injury. He does try to come back. He has had awful luck from Bell's palsy and appendicitis hitting him during the playoffs. And so I was glad that he was out there, that he got out there, and that he did that. I am happy for him.
If I might add to that, because I have been critical of his performance goes down in the playoffs. However, I do believe, and I've said this in the past, but a lot of that is because even when he plays, I'd say the majority of his postseason career, even if he plays, he might be 75%, 80%. Like, he's just hardly ever been just, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, and underperformed. So I think that is an explanation for why he hasn't been great.
And so I'm happy for him. Listen, I don't know if this is just going to be another early playoff exit, another what-if year, but I'm happy that he was able to come back and that he had this, at least moment last night. But to my pick to win the championship, the Boston Celtics, I say this earnestly and sincerely. You don't have to play this way. And I know KW, you shake your head and you're like, that's just how they're going to play. It is great to have that pitch. Mm-hmm. It is great to be able to shake up the variant so if during a regular season your best player is out with an Achilles, or if in the NBA Finals and when you're full strength, you just feel like, you know what, we're overmatched. And you have the ability, because of the math and because of three-point shooting, to, like a football game where the underdog's like, you know what? We're never punting. We're going for all the fourth downs. We're going to add some variance to it. Fine. And it is a very legitimate strategy. However, that can't be your only pitch, because in series where you are the better team, adding variance is not what you want to do.
Right.
And it is... Since Mazzulla's been the coach, they've been awesome. He's a great coach. They've won a championship. They also are more likely, particularly at home, to lose games where they're huge favorites than every other team in the league combined. 10-plus point home favorites last 4 postseasons. The rest of the NBA wins 80% of those games. Boston barely wins over 50% of their games. It's a testament to them how many times they've had those opportunities, but still the winning percentage. You don't have to play this way when you have the talent edge. And I understand, maybe Baylor Shireman or maybe certain guys on your team, that's all they can play. It's not Tatum, it's not Brown. Right. And it is frustrating, someone who now all of a sudden is emotionally invested in the Celtics for the first time because I picked them, are you going to follow the same thing that cost you the Knicks series this postseason? I don't think it'll cost them this series, but they have no business having this series go back to Philadelphia for a Game 6, bro.
I'm with you. And I think the story is the Celtics, and because of the reason you said. Now, for instance, the 2 losses they've had this series, Game 2, 13 for 50 from three-point range. That's 26% they lose. Game 4 last night, 11 for 39 from 3, 28% they lose. And to your point, you don't have to play this way. This would almost be like, it's a rough analogy, Victor Wembanyama only shooting threes. When you can just go inside and score inside and dunk and things like that. Because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can beat anybody off the dribble and get to the basket or shoot a mid-range shot anytime they want. There is nuance in basketball. If the threes aren't falling, you know what? Go get an easy bucket. We hear that all the time. Get to the free throw line. Get a layup. See the ball go in. They have the luxury of doing it. And as you said, Nick, it cost them the series last year against the Knicks. It's cost them 2 games here. Don't lose Game 6. You lose Game 6, then all bets are off. And if Embiid's able to play and healthy, then they got a shot. And just to underscore this, I have some graphics about Joel Embiid. All right, I don't even have to go to another game, another season. Right here, last night, Joel Embiid, who I've always been on about, go inside more, big fella. I know you're a great jump shooter, but go inside. First half, 0 for 5 from 3, 5 for 13 overall. They're down 7. Second half, look at the shot chart. Look, he's all in the paint. No three-point attempts. 7 from 10 from the field. He's in the paint or right near the paint. He's a great mid-range shooter, too. And that was the difference. And look, for big men like Embiid, LeBron, or who's not like a big man, but he's big enough, to do this. The paint teams nowadays do not defend the post well. They don't know how to defend the post. Post points are easy points that are always there for a legitimate big man, unless Rudy Gobert's guarding.
Or particularly against the Celtics' only spot of weakness is center. And Keita's he could have been most improved player. He's had a nice year, but
he ain't stopping Joel Embiid inside. In Game 6, if I'm Philly, I'm having a steady diet of Embiid inside. I'm not changing my whole approach, but I'm having a steady diet of him inside in the post because I got Maxey, Edgecombe, and Paul George to handle the perimeter. Embiid can be down low and hit mid-range shots. Look, but Boston, it's ridiculous, and I agree with you. Mazzulla was my coach of the year on Bruce ballot. I think he'll win it this year, but that's going to cost them. It might cost them again.
There's 3 teams that I see that can beat the Celtics. 1, the Thunder, obviously. 2, the Spurs. 3, the Boston Celtics.
Yeah,
they're not changing. This is, and as a poker player or a blackjack player.
So this is. I'm so glad you said as a poker player.
He plays the odds.
So I'm so glad you said as a poker player.
I don't actually know poker.
No, that's the.
I think he's about to show
like,
that
look,
you
so
don't know
don't
poker.
say the nuts.
No, I'm not. So listen, the poker analogy is perfect.
Okay.
Because it is absolutely true that like a really studied game theory poker player that plays a ton of online poker and is going to play thousands and thousands and thousands of hands a year, they are just going to play perfectly and be like, hey, this gives me an edge in the long run.
Like a bot.
Exactly. They're going to try to play as close to robotically as possible. That those same exact players, if they are in the final stages of a big in-person tournament, will do sometimes the wrong thing because they want to turn the variance down.
Yep.
They're like, all right, you know what? I have to risk all my chips here, and I'm a 60-40 favorite, but I think there will be a better spot. I think if I turn the variance down, I can find somewhere where it's not 60-40, it's 85-15, so I'm going to give this up because I think I have the advantage in this moment. That is the difference between, a 10,000 event sample size thing and the playoffs. It's the
regular season and the playoffs. We see it in baseball, and it's the same in basketball.
And so there is, and it is just... It is why the Celtics play these long series.
Yep.
They, dating back to Udoka, 7 against Milwaukee, 7 against Miami, first year with Mazzulla, 6 against Atlanta, 7 against, I don't even remember who that one was. I wrote SF, but there's not a San Francisco team. And then 7 against Miami. I don't know who I was thinking of, who they played that round. Or 7 in the semifinals is what that meant, but it doesn't matter. And last year against the Knicks, you remove the likelihood of you just dispatching of a team quickly, which is valuable. And so it's frustrating.
Derek White also really struggling. He's got 8 points down from 16 in the last few playoffs.
And you need him out there for his defense.
Game 6 tomorrow night. All right. Wemby, Brew, wins his first playoff series. 17 points, 14 rebounds.
It was Philly.
6 blocks.
That's what it was.
Spurs shot 67% in the first half. We're up by 28 at one point. Wemby impressed Shaq in a major way. Take a listen.
I think Wemby is the first perfect big man that's ever created. Can shoot, free throws, play defense, play offense. He's a great team player. I'm happy for the Spurs. I'm happy for Wemby. And for me, in a long time, he's a joy to watch.
Okay, Brew, you were early on your GOAT talk with Wemby and your Akeem comparisons. Were you impressed with Wemby? What do you think about Shaq? 3 questions. And are you more confident in the Spurs after the first round? A lot of questions.
Well, first, the Spurs, of course I'm confident. I mean, they look great. They faced a little adversity. It's 1-1. Their best player, Wemby, is out. You lost home court advantage. And not only did Wemby play great throughout the series when he played, but Castle, Fox, Dylan Harper, like Keldon Johnson, Sham Penny had his moments like last night. So they shot. You got Wemby for inside stuff, but they shot 42%, Nick, from 3 in the series. That's the best in the playoffs so far. If they're going to shoot like this from 3, defend the way they do, and then you got Wembanyama on both ends of the ball, they're going to be tough to beat. So, yeah, I feel good about them. As far as what Shaq said, I would say he's not the perfect center or big man right now, because I would still like to see him flash to the paint, just like I said about Embiid, several times a game. I'm not saying just post him on the block. No, that's gone. We're not having that nowadays. But there are several times they should flash him across the paint, get it to him on the post, and that's either an easy bucket or an assist to somebody. They want to keep the lane free, so they got all these drivers that can penetrate at will or kick. So I get it, but there are points on the board that they are leaving because he doesn't do that. Look, you mentioned, Nick, earlier, the ESPN article about LeBron and Jordan, the GOAT debate and all that. I'll say, and I thought LeBron made a great point, and we've all, you know how much I love LeBron. Yep. But I think Jordan's the GOAT, you think LeBron's the GOAT. And when you are arguing for your guy, you do have to be critical of the other guy, even though you know he's like absolutely phenomenal, and it makes you look like you're hating on something. Yeah. And so here's what I'll say about Wemby, right, in regards to Shaq's helmet. Number one, he could make that debate irrelevant. I mean, he's that good, potentially that good. He could make the Jordan-LeBron debate for number two. All right. Secondly, if he does go on to become the GOAT, you won't have to nitpick about Jordan or LeBron. You'll just be like, the dude is 7'5", handles like a point guard, got moves, like legitimate
spin moves.
Freaky deaky moves,
well, I don't
right?
go that far.
No, that dudes are like, oh my gosh, he just do that. Yeah. He can shoot the three, he can shoot the mid-range. Obviously, the best defender ever. You don't even have to say anything about Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, whoever, if he fulfills his potential.
Yep.
So, yeah, he potentially could be the GOAT.
Well, listen, the part of the LeBron GOAT argument is it makes sense. You mean the child prodigy who was on the cover of the magazine when he was 16, who was the number one pick, the youngest, all those things? There is, for Wemby, that part, the guy who we did hear about when he was a teenager in France because at the time he was a 7'1", point guard, and now he's 7'5". Like, that part I agree with you. Here is the other thing as to why, Brew, you should be more confident about your Spurs, and then I want to do the Wemby piece of it. I don't know if you remember after that when they lost to the Blazers, I said, hey, everything matters. There's a tax on everything. When they lost which game did they lose? Game two to the Blazers. And you pushed back. You're like, I'm not sure there'll be a tax on this or whatever. And they ended up winning in 5, so there really wasn't. But the last 11 champions have one thing in common. They finished their first-round series quickly. So we can just go back since it expanded to a best of 7 in the first round. 17 of the 22 have won in 4 or 5, but each of the last 11 have gotten out of round 1 quickly. So that is really good news for the Thunder, the Spurs, and the only other team that can win in 5, the Los Angeles Lakers. However, I'm just telling you, that's the news. But the other part of the Wemby, whatever his full potential, any GOAT discussion is.
And it's premature.
Of course.
I get it. I'm just saying.
But all of it involves not just, holy crap, what'd that guy do? Accomplishments. And that's why this is exciting. Because the best bigs ever, all by this point in their career, were putting some form of pelts on the wall. So Wemby is in year 3. I will do it very quickly. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won a championship and league MVP in year 2. Bill Russell won a championship in year 1 and league MVP in year 2. Wilt Chamberlain won an MVP as a rookie and made his version of the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, in year 1 because they were in the same conference as Boston, and so that was as far as you could get before they moved west. Akeem in year 2, 4th in MVP voting and made the finals. Shaq in year 3, 2nd in MVP voting and made the finals. Yeah. If we expand it past just pure sinners. Tim Duncan in year 2, third in MVP voting and won the championship. The biggest what-if sinner of all time, Bill Walton, year 3, second in MVP voting and won the championship. If we expand it past Biggs or whatever, Bron, it was year 4 for him. He's second. Got to the finals. But the sinners who have been all-time greats, and I think Walton would have been. Walton was en route to it. His career got ruined by injury. They were competing for championships and in that best player alive discussion on this timeline. And so that's where Wemby is tracking towards. And I think that is super exciting because I don't know how many, hopefully it's 20. I don't know how many healthy playoff runs we're going to get from Victor Wembanyama. That's my biggest concern because of the history of guys his size.
Fair.
So I think there's an element as a sports fan of like cherishing them every time they come around. And right now, he looks more than ready for the moment and ready for to meet the moment. And so do his teammates who played awesome in the time without him.
Trying to be a Wemby guy.
I'm trying to be fair.
It's nothing really negative to say at this point.
Game 6 on Thursday. Lakers trying to send the Rockets home. Kevin Durant ruled out. Jabari Smith saying, hey, the Rockets are actually the better squad. Take a listen.
We're obviously the better team, I feel like. So just knowing that, being confident, trusting our word.
Why do you think you're the better team in this series?
Us? I just feel like from top to bottom. You can say it's an opinion, you can say I'm biased, but I just think we're the better team.
Okay. Brew, your reaction.
And you didn't want to include it, and your guy Şengün guaranteed a victory tonight. So if for some
What do you want him
reason,
to say?
I'm just
He
telling
said
you.
he's younger and he heals faster.
But then he also said we're going to win tonight, and then the pressure will be on them in Game 6. But that's fine. But it's not.
That's not.
Well, on paper, maybe if Jabari Smith has reason to say what he's saying, but why are you down 3-1? If you're the better team, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because you're also the most dim-witted team of the team. I'm going to be kind. I mean, that's the kindest way I can say it. You're the most dim-witted team. Yeah, on paper, you look better, but you're down 3-1 because
There's some questionable decision making.
some knucklehead decisions by your team. All right, look, I'm glad he feels this way. I'm glad Şengün guaranteed a victory. I'm glad they're confident and not defeated, right? Like 3-1, 1-2-3 Cancun or whatever. I'm glad that they want to go out and play because hopefully that means we get a good game tonight. Hopefully we get some intrigue in this series, or at least tonight it's not just a blowout. It's a game you can enjoy for 48 minutes and all that. So, I think they're done. I think the Lakers win tonight. I think if the Lakers don't win tonight, they still will win the series. But I'd love to see the Rockets make this thing dramatic.
Sure. I just don't know who these guys think they are. This is a mortifying playoff failure they're in the midst of. Flatly. This is a team that, again, I understand I maybe care more about the odds than others, but I just use them because it's supposed to be a neutral, an unbiased observation said they were massive favorites. They have been huge game favorites every game of the series.
Even when the news of Durant was
Yes,
out.
they were 6.5-point favorites, then 9.5-point favorites for Game 2. Then when it went back to on the road, they were favorites. At home, they were big favorites, even without Durant. This is the first game all series. They're not the betting favorite going into the game. And by the way, the Lakers haven't had. It's like, man, this team is just pulling it out like playing way over their skis. Lakers haven't played some unreal brand of basketball. The Lakers, the three-pointers made in this series, 41-40. Turnovers, 58 by the Rockets, 80 by the Lakers. Offensive rebounds, 67 by the Rockets, 31 by the Lakers. The Rockets have outplayed the Lakers in a lot of ways. They're down 3-1 for two reasons. One, situationally, they've been awful. And two, nobody can shoot.
Well,
They can't shoot. They're 41, 31, 75 splits as a team against a Lakers team that isn't exactly the 1989 Detroit Pistons defensively. So if you're better, then shoot better. Then play better. Then I don't want to hear we're better from the guy who had the ball with a 6-point lead with 30 seconds left and threw a little dipsy-doo pass to Marcus Smart. I don't want to hear it. I just don't.
They also don't have a point guard.
Well, okay.
They're going to be saying we're the better team as they exit for the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's where we're headed.
We'll let them win tonight.
I hope they do, so it's interesting.
Russell Wilson.
I kind of hope they do win tonight.
To the Jets. Backup Gino. That's next on FS1 the Fox Sports Channel on SiriusXM. Podcast. How's the podcast doing, Gianna? She gave us a thumbs down. What's going on?
Wow.
What? Nick is cannibalizing
down?
the podcast by doing a bunch of other podcasts? Man. Check out the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is excellent.
You're signing people to your podcast network.
Oh, yeah. I got to talk to you about my contract. I signed Parkins to the podcast network. Welcome back to the show. Greg Jennings is back. Russell Wilson from the Giants to the Jets, maybe. Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic reporting that the Jets hosted Russ for a potential backup role. Interesting part, he notes, with Gino's approval.
Yeah.
It was Gino's idea, according to the article.
Oh, well, this would be a depth chart switch up since Gino was Russ's backup in Seattle. Do we think this is a good idea?
I mean, your starter is Geno Smith.
Oh
I like it.
No, Geno is better than Russ right now. But Geno's not, like, awesome. Last year, Geno was horrible now and still was better than Russ last year. So don't get me wrong. He is the legitimate starter. But is it not on the table that Geno could go out there and do what he did last year?
That's on the table.
So it's on the table. So if he's horrible, I go to Russell Wilson. We're probably not going to win, so we'll still have a great draft pick the next year. But, I mean, and maybe could he have a renaissance like Geno and others have had? I mean, it's fine. I don't think it's a controversy right now. I'm just saying if Geno doesn't play well, you got somebody to maybe go to.
Just quickly, Greg, I'd like to say two things. One is the little right above our topic bar blue stat feature we have might be the saddest stat feature we've ever had. The 2025 passer rating ranks of these two players from last year were 35th and 40th. There's 32 teams in the league. Yeah. We're showing that that's a true. I was looking at it again. I was like it's a college football. It maybe 40, a little more. Yeah. 40. It's not great. 35th ain't great either. That's my guy Geno. But the reason I do not think this is a good idea is if you want to see if you can have a competitive season, there's not tanking in the NFL. I'm all for that. Like going with Geno Smith, I think he's saying, hey, Geno was quite good in Seattle in multiple years consecutively. Last year, feel like it was an aberration. Everything was bad about the Raiders. I support that, not just throwing the year away. But if you're the New York Jets and you get to the point to where your season has gone awry to the place where you're benching the quarterback, then you don't put in the second oldest starting quarterback in the league.
That seems...
You put in, Cade Klubnik. You put in a young guy.
Heck yeah, Bailey Zappi.
Well, yeah, and so but Cade's the guy they drafted, right? And so you do that and look to the future. I don't see any reason for having. It's not like you have a young starting quarterback that could use Russell Wilson's mentorship. Geno's, a long-term veteran. So of all the teams for Russell Wilson to be the backup, this one makes the least sense to me. The benefit is he doesn't have to move. Like for Russell Wilson, I think he likes it because he wants to stay in New York, and I don't begrudge him that at all. I just don't know why it makes sense for the
quickly,
Jets.
Before you go, Greg, because you alluded earlier, Aaron Glenn might be on the hot seat already. Well, and so Aaron Glenn is thinking, I got to win this year. So whether it's Geno,
that's not
if it can't be him, I'm just saying that's probably why he's thinking I wouldn't go to a young quarterback.
I think it's more about being competitive and remaining competitive. I don't think the Jets are like, okay, we're going to win this division. I know that's how they're going to go into the season with a lot of optimism. But Russell Wilson, you want to have a veteran guy in the room. You have that with Geno. And he's the better of the two. So I don't think if you if you are competitive, because I don't think anyone, unless somebody at this table thinks that they're in the runnings to win the division.
I put them on my might be all right radar.
So, okay, I
That's
think
what,
they might
6,
be all
7
right.
wins?
But
that's
if you're
fine.
just, to Nick's point,
but Greg's
they might
saying
be all
not
right.
win the division.
Correct.
Which you,
No.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And so if you're just being all right, you're not going to go from Gino to Russ just to be all right. Now, if this is about, Aaron Glenn trying to save face, if you will, because last year some of the statements he made about, I didn't say it was going to be this year, but we're going to be competitive, we're going to turn this thing around. If he's trying to save face and kind of stay afloat, then you would bring a guy in like Russell Wilson so you don't drop off from the quarterback position because you don't know what you're going to get out of these young guys.
So here's the only place I disagree with you. You're right. We don't know what you get out of Cade Klubnik. He's a rookie. We've seen Bailey Zappi. He's not a starter in this league. I like
win a
him.
game.
But he has experience, whatever.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is not a starter in this league anymore either. We saw Brian Dable almost resigned on the spot in the game where he had to play Russ.
Yeah,
he was so mad about it. He almost fought the concussion doctor
get him out.
because
I think Russ said he was hurt. Remember, it was like a terrible pass.
Listen.
Hold on, didn't Russ throw for like 400, 500
he
yards
did have like
against the Cowboys?
one insane game. That did happen. That is true, bro. I am not trying to be disrespectful to Russell Wilson's career at all. He is going to be a debated Hall of Fame case. Like, that's the level of career he's had, where there will be people who argue he should be in the Hall of Fame. So he deserves all the credit in the world for that. But he hasn't been an even average starter in almost half a decade now. Think about that. Since he left Seattle.
Yeah, I guess so.
How many years is that? 4?
Well, he did 2 in Denver. He did 1 in Pittsburgh. He did 1 with the Giants. So this would be 5. And so, I mean, it's been a very long
to the
time.
playoffs.
He was part of it. So I don't get why this would be the move. I don't understand it.
Okay. USA Today's Nate Davis pitching an idea to Matt Stafford. Headline: one simple fix could end the Rams post-draft QB drama. Any late Matthew Stafford? Oh, I can be elated? Sure, what is it? Trade for A.J. Brown. Brown sulked due to his lack of targets in Philly last season, he writes. But just imagine how he might feast on defenders, likely in single coverage, If paired with Stafford, a far more precise and effective passer than Jalen Hurts, not to mention the load he'd reduce on Puka, and especially Adams. Should the Rams trade for A.J. Brown?
I would like to answer your question with a question.
Sure.
Everybody knows we're up for an Emmy Award.
Wow.
Do you want to win it?
Do I want to win it?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of value in being nominated, but sure.
Yes, you want to win it. Yeah. That's how obvious this question is.
Good setup, bro.
Of course they should go get A.J. Brown if they can. I mean, they would be that offense with Puka, Devontae Adams, and if Devontae's hurt or whatever, you got A.J. Like, they would be phenomenal. Phenomenal. I wouldn't even run the ball if I was them. And I had A.J. with those 3 receivers. I mean, who's stopping them offensively if they got so yes, by all means, I don't know what they have to give up. That's the question. But they should try to get A.J. Brown.
Future first-round pick is what it is.
Well, you know how they feel about picks.
Yeah.
They almost did them picks this year. So, yeah, go get him.
So, I'm with Brew. On the Rams side of it, yes. If you are trying to say that this year we're going for it all and you feel like you can add value, which he clearly would add value to your team in the immediate, yes. On the flip side, I'm not so sure A.J. Brown would sign up for this, not just beyond 1 year, because that's what it would be.
Because he wouldn't be the number 1 option?
Well, it's not even, you talk about, the article talked about him sulking for the lack of targets. Well, he wouldn't lead the team in targets.
He get a lot, though.
He would he?
Don't you think Stafford would be, I mean,
I think
Puka's
he,
your
I
number
think,
1,
I
but
think
he
the
would
targets,
just be equal opportunity.
I think the targets he would get would be more meaningful. They would be more like locked into showcasing, okay, he can still get open. He can still run intermediate routes. He can still separate. He's going to get opportunities to go for the 50-50 balls. But you talk about the Rams then the Eagles signing up to hand him to an NFC team that is on the brink, and you feel like, well, shoot, we're there too.
Right.
So I don't know
agree
if
with
that the Eagles would sign up for that. A.J. Brown then too was looking like, well, I mean, if New England's sitting out there, that's really where I want to go. I got a young quarterback trajectory. The runway is a lot longer. I would be the guy.
Yep.
I don't think it's about, and again, everyone wants to win.
Said it.
Everyone
It's not
wants
just
to.
about winning.
He
A.J.
said,
Brown has said that.
That it's not just about winning.
exactly.
He also said he wants to be a Patriot. Kind of.
But it's about
put up
producing.
numbers,
It's about
right.
producing because I do believe A.J.
true.
Brown
That's
is
true.
looking down the road like, man, could I possibly get a yellow jacket?
Oh.
And if that's the case, the path to doing that is not just a one-year hit, which would be the case with the Rams because you don't know what the future holds for Matthew Stafford.
But if he goes there, plays well, they win the Super Bowl. I think that's a big boost to his argument for the Hall of Fame.
You know how many receivers have 2 championships but still isn't?
But he is already like an elite individual receiver. Like we know.
But
he's elite.
his
I think it
path
would
to
just
the
help
Hall
him.
of Fame is
His numbers,
crazy
I get it.
numbers.
Yes,
Yeah, and that's for every
absolutely.
receiver. I get. But and I don't want to cut you off, Nick. Like,
No problem.
you don't think if Matthew Stafford has those 3 receivers, Devontae Puka and A.J. Brown, he's not just, I get that there's, one guy's the number 1 option on each play, but you don't think he's just going to the guy that's open or, like, I would think with those 3,
But AJ's, I
could
think
get a lot
Greg's
of
point is AJ's used to being the most
Yeah, he won't
targeted
be
guy
that.
on every team he's ever been on. Even when he's been mad in Philly, he still led the receivers in targets.
Yeah, he just hasn't had that season where it's 3 years ago where he had 160 plus targets, 150 targets, like back-to-back years. His All-Pro year, making it All-Pro.
His first 2 years in Philly,
yeah,
where he was one of the
like
most
he hasn't
targeted
had
players
that
in football.
in New England. He would definitely get that.
So do you want to say something about the Patriots for?
Yeah, we have a handshake deal, I've heard.
So
It's not an official deal, but as I've said, where I come from, you shake a man's hand, that's as good as signing
I know you keep,
John
you
Hancock.
keep going with that. I don't know if
The
this
handshake
is like
deal.
the
That's
time.
the Jerry Jones
Post
approach.
June
How's that
1st,
worked out?
we had a handshake. Don't you dare
So-
call Les Snead when we had a handshake deal.
Hey.
But the problem is this, in all seriousness. If the Patriots have agreed that on June 1st, and I'm making this up, we are going to send you a first-round pick for A.J. Brown.
Yes.
Do we truly believe that if, and again, I'm making this up as well, that if the Rams called and said, hey, we will give you a first and a third-round pick for A.J. Brown, that Howie Roseman is supposed to say, that is the better offer, and I would love to accept it. However, I have a handshake deal
Yeah.
with Elliott Wolf. I just don't think that's how the NFL works. I don't think that's how so I don't think that would happen.
But at the same time, just tell me, Greg, the Eagles drafted Lemon and signed Elijah Moore, Hollywood Browns, Ontavian Wicks. They are planning, because they have a handshake deal, to move off of A.J. Brown.
Right, but
if the Patriots reduce their offer
I think
because
that's fair
of the draft
too.
pick, that would
I think
be
that's fair too.
uncouth.
I said that the day after the draft.
why you
You're not
I
allowed
put
to do
him-
that.
I put him on
We're
the
holding
bun
up
list.
our end of the
Well, you don't
handshake
know.
deal.
First of all, you don't. Here's the thing. And again, we haven't talked much about this story for a lot of reasons. I think it'd be totally reasonable if the Patriots like, hey, one of the reasons we felt so comfortable about trading for A.J. Brown was his relationship with Mike Vrabel. I don't know if you've been watching the news lately. We're in a tenuous spot there potentially. So we are less. It was worth a first when we knew they were going to be together for the next 5 years.
That's a very good point.
If we're not sure of that, now it's worth a second and a third. That would be totally reasonable. If the Patriots did that, I just don't think any of these deals are done until they're done.
I'm with you there. I don't think they're done until they're actually done.
But
the handshake deal.
Can I just say one thing about the Rams? Because Brew has been making the point that I understand the point, and I was trying to figure out like the way to explain why I disagree with it. That the Rams, with or without on the Ty Simpson draft pick, with or without the draft pick, they obviously can win the Super Bowl. They're still the favorites to win the Super Bowl. The reason that I like the idea of them making a significant post-free agency move like this, since they kind of punted on the draft, or at least in the first-round pick, is just look at the Super Bowl champions last 4 years and the critical rookies they had. Last year, the Seahawks starting guard and starting safety were rookies. The Eagles rookies, one of them returned a pick six and touchdown. Those are all, the Chiefs class was disproportionate, but again, they're starting running back and they're all pro corner. The last 4 Super Bowl champions have gotten huge Super Bowl contributions from rookies. I don't think the Rams are going to. Now, it's not like they didn't have any rookie draft picks, so they could from a second-round pick or whatever it is. But I just like the idea of them adding a little something extra, like all those teams did after free agency. For them, it was via draft to help them this year. So whether it's A.J. Brown or someone else, I think there's an argument for that.
Okay. Sounds good. I mean, me? Handshake deal. Knicks have gone from death's door to the doorstep of the next round, bro. Jalen Brunson had 39. Now, Cat only took 7 shots, but he did have 16 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists. C.J. McCollum came back down to earth, only 6 more points than Steve Sharippa. Did the Knicks ease all concerns?
This is good. I mean, up 3-2, in control of the series. I think they closed them out in 6. My pick was 6. So, yeah, that was good. They should move on to the next round. And I think with Detroit on death's door now, I think the Knicks, and we see Boston now struggling. The Knicks' chances of winning the East look better today than they did yesterday, a week ago. I picked them to get to the conference finals. I think now they have a legitimate chance to win the.
You know what the kids say?
What?
Keep that same energy. Have you heard people?
Yeah, I've heard.
No, I have that energy.
They're on death's
Well,
door.
my pick, but
now
my
they're
pick,
up about to win. Like, yeah,
my
okay,
pick is on death. My pick in the East was Detroit. I thought they were the one team that had the Knicks number. They're about to be out, I think. So now the Knicks got a good shot. But anyway, Brunson obviously was great. But Cat played really well, and they did run a lot of the offense through Cat.
You thought so?
Yeah, because he had 6 assists. A lot of times it's Brunson dribbling and scoring, and obviously there was still some of that. But a lot of his buckets were also off cuts, coming off screens. Like here's an assist in the second quarter from Cat, who is an underrated passer. Like watch, that's just a great dime.
Yeah.
You weren't seeing a ton of that during the regular season for them. So I do think, I hear you, it's only 7 shots, but he did 6 free throws. But I just think having Cat make some plays for them makes it easier for Brunson to score. We doesn't have to dribble, and then create something. And I thought that was good for the Knicks. Cat went inside a little. I still would like to see them use him a little more, but he went inside a little, had his way inside on a few baskets. So he's an advantage they should take advantage of.
Coach Mangini always says, don't ignore in victory what you would not ignore in defeat. And here is why my answer is about them easing all concerns. The answer is no. I never thought they were going to lose this series. When they're down 2-1, I didn't say I thought they were going to lose this series. I picked Knicks in 7, and I sit here today, and I think it's going to be Knicks in 7. I think they probably will lose in Atlanta and then win Game 7. I do think they're the better team. Our biggest complaint about the Knicks the first 5 games of this series, aside from Mikal Bridges' total no-show in this series, is they are not utilizing the Karl Anthony Towns advantage enough, and Jalen has been a little too shot-chucking heliocentric. None of that, to me, was that different last night, except Jalen was making them. And Jalen was super efficient, and Jalen was awesome.
They got a lot in transition.
But as you said, yes, Cat had a nice, what you would call a floor game, but he took 7 shots. And it's not because he got a free throw line 18 times. He took 6 free throws. Against the Celtics, guess what the Celtics have? People who can guard Jalen Brunson. Derek White can't hit a shot to save his life right now. He's an excellent defender. If you really want to overwhelm Brunson, you might put Jaylen Brown on him and say, hey, he's a great defender and he's got size. You know what the Celtics don't have? A great 5. And I would want to be getting Cat rolling in preparation for what I think is the toughest series of in the East, particularly now that Detroit, as you said, looks like they're on death's door. So I I am not trying to take anything away from the Knicks, but I also wasn't as panicked as others about the Knicks. I thought they were going to find their way through this series, but their real question is, can they do what they did last year? Beat Boston in round 2 to make the conference finals. They did that last year and was so disappointed in the conference finals, one of the reasons they fired Tibbs. And I just don't know if Brunson, was it 29 shots or 26 shots? I didn't mean
15 for 26.
I didn't mean to give you a pop quiz, but it was, I don't know if Brunson taking around 20 more shots than Cat is the recipe for the next round of the playoffs. That's my only critique. It's an excellent win.
Back-to-back easy W's.
Yes. Listen, the Knicks are better than Atlanta. The Knicks are supposed to. The Knicks have controlled this series. They blew Game 2, and Game 3 was a classic coin flip game that CJ made the shot and Jalen didn't. They're better.
CJ also quickly, like, he was great in the first, 3 games. It just shows you the difference between the superstars or stars that do that every night and then guys that can have great moments, great weeks and stuff, but not consistent.
All right, Knicks are plus 52 in their last 9 quarters, so pretty good. Thursday at 7, Game 6 in Atlanta. Coming up next, Tiers. Live from New York, it's the show that calls it like they see it. And when I see the Jets offense lined up with some weapons, they're on all right.
They had weapons with Aaron Rodgers.
Hold on, I got to tell you something. I don't say this lightly. I think I've lost a tiny bit of respect for you.
I like Omar Cooper.
I don't believe that. I know you do like Omar Cooper, but you are truly, and you are great at your job and very secure contractually, just kissing up to our boss who's 12 feet from here and a Jets fan.
I've been in on the Jets.
No, you have not.
Do I not?
You have not.
You've never been
Do I
in
not like every terrible team? Do I reserve
the
a little
Jets are
piece
the
of real
only
estate?
team. When the Patriots were at their absolute nadir, and Belichick was standing in the snow looking miserable, having his dog do draft picks, dating his friend from college, you were like, we're never losing to the Jets. The Jets aren't a real team.
We lost to the Jets, and what happened?
You've never
We got
respected
Drake
the
May.
Jets.
I'm just saying the Jets look okay.
No, they don't.
And I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn.
Well,
You're rooting for some more time off or something.
Today. All these summer Fridays. Yeah, let's sit down and look at all the summer Fridays. I want a 6-hour show. I said, you know what? I'll do it. Tonight a must-win for LeBron. Meanwhile, World Cup Wednesday, 43 days to the World Cup. Cristian Roldan joins us, midfielder for the U.S. men's team. Also plays in MLS in Seattle, so got to get coming up against Kansas City.
Fun fact about Cristian Roldan. True story. Gatorade National Player of the Year.
Loves it.
I wonder if he and Trevor are like on a group chat.
No.
You know who won that twice? LeBron. Greg Oden also won it twice, actually.
Super flag.
I did a bunch of this. I did a deep dive
Again,
in the Gatorade.
Trevor never won.
He won it for Georgia. He won it for Georgia.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Georgia's a football hotbed.
All right, let me get you caught up to speed on what's been going on. Last night, while building yet another World Cup Lego set.
Oh, wait till World Cup Wednesday, Brew. You're not going to believe it.
I can't wait to see. I've heard so much about this toy.
It's not a toy, Brew. It's a work of art.
Legos.
Brew, it's a work of art.
I played with Legos when I was like 8.
You know what? Like many things from your childhood, they have since made advancements.
It better be advanced, because back then...
He brings them into my shared office with such joy.
Yeah.
You can't help but be enthused.
Yeah. I made Wilds, one that he kept in his house. He put in a trophy case.
That's not in a trophy case. It's in the garage on the shelf.
The little Jeep.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, an elite committee of analysts, experts, and the guy who sits next to Jadakiss and Fat Joe at the Garden fought.
That's my butt poker buddy.
Is it really?
Yeah, Richie. The guy who sits next to him. Yeah.
He's next to Jadakiss?
Yeah, he has the best seats in the Garden. He sits next to him. Yeah.
Know that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Richie.
Yeah.
Fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports. It's an honor and it's a privilege. It's time for NBA playoff tiers.
I thought you knew that. Yeah.
No, that was just random. I
Yeah.
just saw Jadakiss and Fat Joe.
Yeah, they're always sitting there. Here's who's been eliminated. 2 new eliminations since last week's tiers. Suns, Blazers. Hold your head up high, gentlemen. Blazers season, your head coach gets popped by the feds day 1. You find
Which actually, Thiago did. I think they should give his job to Thiago.
Right, and and the new owner's thinking of bumping him up to $35 an hour.
Hourly rate.
Are you done with Scoot though?
What? Career game.
Scoot had 30 in a playoff game.
Yeah, and what about the rest of the playoff
Listen,
game?
it's a work in
What did he have
progress.
last night? 7?
Listen, his
Following
playoff
the
performance,
goose egg?
his
I'm
playoff
just saying.
performance was better than the guy taking one spot ahead of him, Brandon Miller. I'll tell you that much right now. And the Suns, nobody believed in you but Ishbia. And hey, Dillon
And you
Brooks,
lost 10 straight playoff games.
that part's true as well. But again, I don't think people thought that they were going to.
Dillon Brooks can ball.
Dillon Brooks is. I don't like the antics, but he does bring an edge to a team that is helpful.
Can I ask you a question?
Houston could use him right now.
This is a. I want Dillon Brooks is on my. Need to ask Nick and Brew if it's okay. Can we ask Dillon Brooks to come in as like our NBA analyst during the finals?
I'd love to have
Is that on the table?
Well, I'm
Yeah,
putting it out there.
Dillon, come on, I'd love to have Dillon.
Yeah, I mean, he might have a problem with me, but
That's what I'm saying.
but
I think it'd be
I'd
great.
have him on. I think it'd be good. I think he'd be
I'd
good
love
at
to
it.
get
Wait,
Dillon.
can you call Dillon Brooks, please?
Okay, time for the tiers. Crushing defeat, critical offseason. Both of these teams losing this round, which they're both down 3-1, and they both, I believe, are going to lose this round, is horrifying in a lot of respects. For the 8-1 upsets in the best of 7, the ones we've had post We Believe Warriors all involved critical injury to someone's best player or one of their best players.
Yep.
It was Manu Ginobili breaking his arm. It was Derrick Rose blowing out his knee and Giannis hurting his back and missing games of the series. Pistons, they're all there, and they're losing. That's a disaster. The Rockets, we've talked about a lot, but what are both of these teams going to do this offseason? For the Rockets, you keeping the young core or you keeping Durant? Because you can't keep both, in my opinion. I don't know if the coach is in jeopardy also.
You think he? I don't think he should be.
The Rockets are like, what if we move on from Durant? And the Pistons are like, what if we got another score?
Right.
What if we,
Like
no,
we
for
got
real,
Durant,
what if we
right.
added Durant? And,
But you think Ime should be on the hot seat?
I don't think. Listen, no, but I think he did a very poor job this year.
I agree with
And for the Pistons, you
would
need
fine.
more shot creation. You just need more offense. Next tier. Nice little seasons. Hawks and Raptors.
Yeah, sure.
I think they're both losing this round. I think this is the 5 and the 6 seed in the East. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think these have been nice little seasons for these teams. Scotty Barnes didn't take a full leap, but continued to improve. Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett were solid. The Hawks remade their team on the fly, make the playoffs, don't get swept, don't get gentlemen swept, and hey, maybe one of them's gonna end up winning a round. That would change it to more than nice little seasons, but even in losing around one nice little
I'm
season.
surprised you didn't just put cute.
Well, that's
that's
your thing.
Okay.
Next tier. Title Pie Redemption. Never gave up. They had 2% last week because I said Embiid might be coming back.
Sure.
All of a sudden, they got a game 6 at home.
I love for them to win.
The reason that you can't give up on a team with Maxey and the specter of Embiid is because if they're all healthy and they're all there and Paul George D'ing up, Edgecombe giving you stuff, Quentin Grimes all having the game of his life, it's like you can see how they can be dangerous.
Right.
We saw this coming. Kind of. A Cavs Magic round 2 to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Before the season, everyone thought this was reasonable. These were the two. This was the favorite and the third favorite in the East going into the year. The favorite was the Cavs, then the Knicks, then the Magic. These two teams playing in round 2 made a ton of sense back in October.
Yeah.
We didn't see it coming at any other point during the year for the Magic, but
It's got C block written all over.
They deserve better.
Winners and losers.
Yeah. They deserve better, the Timberwolves. I didn't know how to rank them.
Yeah.
You're starting backcourts out with injury, but they deserve better because they were in total control of the Nuggets series. I mean, they're still leading, but they're underdogs to win it. And I don't think Brew was thrilled about the idea of this team playing Wemby and the Spurs.
No, not healthy.
Not healthy, right.
Not healthy. Would have been tough.
The Gobert and Wemby would have been a really fun. It would have been the pinnacle of French basketball.
It would have been an interesting
right.
series.
And so I feel badly for their fans. This is a team that's never been to a finals. That we are in, as weird as it sounds, the golden era of Timberwolves basketball.
Yes.
They've been to 3 conference finals ever, and 2 of them are in the last two years.
Despite having Kevin Garnett.
Right. They only had 1 year where they won playoff series with Garnett. Round 2 reset. Nuggets and Knicks. Hope is get to round 2, and the Knicks maybe are doing it ahead of schedule. And it's like, okay, whatever issues we had in round 1, that's behind us. Now this is the matchup we've been thinking about all year. Nuggets, Spurs. The Nuggets knew they were going to have to beat the Spurs at some point in these playoffs. Knicks, Celtics, ready for it last year. The Nuggets obviously have to play much better than they've played up to this point. The Knicks, I think, have to play a little different than they've played up to this point, but that they hope you get out of round 1 and you can be your best selves. You're better than this. Boston.
I can't believe we haven't seen the Lakers yet. I'm sorry. I can't. Didn't interrupt you, but I thought there was like an error or something. Sorry, keep going. I didn't mean that. That's a private aside to
while it's not the standings. I don't know, teams that start the playoffs 3-0 against a Rockets team that people love. We'll get to the Lakers in a moment. You could have just waited 10 more seconds.
I didn't know. Who knows?
You could not hold it in.
Hold on, for the record, you did know. The tears are in the doc for 6 hours.
I just assumed. I just glanced past it. I just assumed that the Lakers are down in the Cavs territory.
Okay.
Holy cow.
We'll get to them. May I do the Celtics?
Yeah.
As I was saying about the Celtics.
Wow.
You don't need these gimmicks in round 1.
Or ever.
I think it's a good club to have in your bag for when you're undermanned like they were throughout the regular season. Or if you find yourselves down in the finals, down 2-0 to OKC, and you're like, you know what? We can't beat them. This is playing straight up. We're bombing threes. Great. You're prepared for it. You don't need it in round 1. I don't think you needed it in round 2 last year against the Knicks, and it's what cost you.
Yes.
So believe in yourselves, and just, it's frustrating. Listen, I've been alive 41 years. This is my first year watching the NBA where I'm rooting for the Celtics to win. I got to tell you, it's been an odd experience, and it's frustrating at times. Now, to the Lakers.
Okay.
1 chapter left, question mark. Now, Kevin Wildes evidently has an issue with where I've placed them. Unlike every team beneath them on the tiers, they've only lost once in these playoffs. And it's not because they're playing some fugazi 8 seed. They're playing a 5 seed that 1/3 of this show believed in all year long, that the overtime pick to sweep them, that you, after game 1, thought the Rockets were still winning, after game 2, thought the Rockets were still winning, and today, think the Rockets, if they win tonight, are going to win the series. So
that's missing their best player.
But again, what is true is, Cato, I didn't think they need Kevin Durant. He likes them more at the young guys.
Well,
so I am, to not disrespect the Rockets, respecting the Lakers, but more importantly, the 1 chapter left question is this. Just winning this series is a nice little final chapter, if this is a final chapter of LeBron with the Lakers. This upset when nobody saw this coming going into it. How long does the chapter go? And can he extend it long enough for Luka to come in and try to write his own? Can it be 2-1? Can LeBron, with Austin Reeves, get one of the first 3 games from Oklahoma City? Can it be 2-1 OKC and Luka comes back and you feel like you got a shot? I don't know.
That's the path.
That's right. That is the path is that OKC wins 2 of the first 3, but you're alive with a game 4 at home and Luka returning would be the hope, and you see if you can keep them afloat. Every quarter century, around 50 years ago, we had a transcendent talent coming in the league, Bill Walton. It was a number 1 pick with a bullet, no questions asked. Took a team with no experience that didn't have a lot of expectations. They won the damn championship. He was already the best player in the league, arguably. Next year won MVP, then got hurt. About 25 years later, LeBron James comes in the league. He's the number 1 pick with a bullet. I'm not. This isn't a Jordan thing at all. I'm saying the guys about every 25 years we've had a guy come into the league, immediately take a team to the finals, and I think Walton would have been one of the greatest ever. LeBron had the career. Is Wemby just? Is it not as shocking as we would think? Is it actually all? We already talked about the great young centers who did it, the number 1 picks, like maybe. And then atop the tiers, flirting with history. From a team perspective, from Shea, anything and everything. If they pull this off, it's not just what it means for Shea. It's also, here's the other thing, Brew. It's been quite some time a team won a consecutive championship without resistance. Like even the 18 Warriors were down 3-2 to the Rockets. You know, the 2010 Lakers were in a game 7 against the Celtics. Like there's one of the Lakers years, obviously.
Well, last year they had resistance.
No, that's true. I'm talking about in the attempt to repeat.
Back-to-back.
So that's the Thunder's biggest opponent right now is history, and those are the tiers.
It was good. It was good. I got a few bonus stakes.
Oh, good. I thought that was just for King of the Hill.
Number 1. Well, I always love the names.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. I was gonna say, what was the guy's name? Dylan.
Gus.
No, the one guy from the Tears guy.
Oh, Marshall.
Marshall.
Go ahead.
Are we talking
Bob.
about
Bob is the
earlier?
equivalent of Marshall. And
Saying
yeah.
Bob Dylan.
That was-
Chalamet was the Knicks game.
I think, Nick, while this is disappointing in the moment, I actually think this is really good for Detroit.
This is
Now, I would rather-
real take. He's gonna steal my bonus. That's why you don't have a bonus.
Don't do it.
I would like to see them advance, of course, and they want to advance. This was your
Don't
take?
do this.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
About things that were in the
I'm
document.
leaving it alone. I'm leaving it alone. All right.
Add on to mine.
Secondly, it's good tiers. Love the names. It is a little bit of the standings. Wilds was right. Because the top 3 teams, I think Boston, Denver, and the Knicks should be ahead of the Lakers. But
Denver has not been better than the Lakers these playoffs.
I think Denver's better.
But Denver has not been better.
I think they're a better team. And I think but you just went with OKC's done. They swept. The Spurs 1-5. And the Lakers.
It's how well the teams are playing. In the playoffs, how well you're playing is kind of the standard.
I mean, the Lakers are facing.
I mean, I thought the Blazers acquitted themselves well. They're not on here because they're out.
And then Luka is not going to be back reportedly for the second round.
No, that's been revised. Now it's just the beginning of the second round.
Okay. So I just think
I don't know how you can have the Nuggets ahead of the Lakers. The Lakers have been better, and the Lakers have reinforcements coming. Yeah. The Nuggets are in disarray. But is that your real take?
Is that just a bonus take?
That was my real take.
Oh, okay, all right.
Time for my real take.
That was my real take.
Pistons, still alive.
Still alive.
They're the number 1 seed. They won 60 games. They're the bottom of the tiers next to my poor Rockets. I just think we're writing the Pistons obituary a little prematurely.
I don't like being down 3-1.
No one does. Here's the lineup of stats, Orlando and Detroit. You're not getting crushed. You're scoring 2.5 points fewer per game. You got to hit some threes. That's the big differentiator. Orlando's not shooting very well either. No one's shooting well. So shoot the ball a little bit better. Jalen Duren, what's going on? This is too big of a fall off for a star. A 10-point fall off can't happen.
Ridiculous.
You have to just play normal, or even a little less than normal. You can't play horribly. And then finally, Cade. Stop turning the ball over. A few turnovers, we get it. It's a little heliocentric. 8 turnovers last game, 9 the game before, 7, 3. I'll take 3, I'll take 4, I'll take 5. 8 and 9 doesn't work. Rudy, you have a bonus take?
Well, I was starting to say, I think this is, if they lose this series, this is good for them. Now they know what we need. If they had gotten to, say, the conference finals, they're feeling like, okay, we're
So
right
it's
there.
bad if they come back and win?
No, I mean, look, you want to win in the moment, but I'm saying they could be fooled into thinking we just got to let Dennis and the rest of these young guys become something, and we're right there. No, you need help for Cade. Go get a scorer.
Kawhi Leonard destination?
Look, they need. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Pistons.
I wouldn't mind seeing.
Yes.
I feel like Kevin Durant is just what the doctor ordered. I know. I'm not saying definitely. I'm just saying it's worth exploring.
No, we just
a
explored
discussion.
It's
Have
probably
in
worth
your
a
war
discussion.
room, have a little discussion. That's it.
Listen, you know who they
If he's gonna
actually,
play, he's
you
gotta
know
play
the type
somewhere.
of player they actually need, but it's not happening? A guy you wanted to get into the show yesterday. Devin Booker.
Yeah, I love to see.
Professional scorer.
Can that
Professional
happen?
scorer.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
$60 million.
Right. Number 2
I
option.
mean, it's worth the money. Yeah.
Jimmy Butler.
No.
Jimmy Butler.
No.
He's
I mean,
your
Butler's
age and
a-
blew out his knee.
Yeah.
Saturday night is baseball night on Fox. Ohtani got his first loss last night. Only gave up 1 run, though, taking on the Cardinals. Saturday, 7 Eastern, only on Fox. Welcome back to the show. You're in the No Bull Zone, sponsored by Credible. You get great rates. You don't have to deal with any of the bull. Rockets trying to stay alive in L.A. tonight. Jabari Smith says that the Houston's actually the better team. J.J. Redick knows the Rockets aren't going to lie down. May have gone a little overboard here in this quote. Take a listen.
Well, you have to kill them. You know, you have to kill. It's difficult to kill someone. You know, you've got to. Again, survival instinct says I want to stay alive, so you've got to be able to kill them. And that's what's difficult.
Gee whiz.
A little scary.
What's going on? Is anyone worried about the Lakers if they lose?
No. I think they'll win tonight. If they lose, I think they're going to still win the series.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't?
LeBron is not losing 4 straight to this
You don't have to lose
group.
4 straight. You just have to lose once. 3
No,
times.
all right, whatever. He's not doing. No, I'm sorry, and I get it that the games will be closer together. I don't care, especially with Austin Reeves coming back. That'll actually give LeBron. He doesn't have to carry as much of the load. Like, no.
But he's not going to be 100%. I don't think we're going to get snap Austin Reeves 20.
No, but he's going to be better than Jake
There's
LaRavia.
no way
Jake
they're
LaRavia's
losing this
taking a lot
series.
of-
He makes a lot of money. He's a pro athlete. He needs to play better. And as JJ should, like, here's a prediction. I don't know if he'll play today because Austin Reeves will be in.
Okay.
Like, Brew's right. Like, here's what I don't you have to help me understand.
Sure.
Lakers won game 1. You were nonplussed, non-concerned.
Regression to the mean. Luke
On
Kennard
here, not
scored a
only
bunch
did
of
you think the
points.
Rockets were going to win game 2, you said blowout. You said Rockets
Kind of wishful thinking.
blowout.
Sure.
Rockets lost game 2, and you were starting to sour on them.
Yeah, but at the same time, the series hadn't even officially started.
Correct. They were going back home. Rockets lost game 3. We weren't on the air the next day.
We're in control of the game
But
for
you
the last 30
were
seconds.
That's
So-
the problem. You got to win by blowout.
Right. That is correct. You can't win a close
No.
game. You can't be trailing going into the 4th.
No.
Because the Lakers have been the best team. I think they've lost once all year when leading after 3 quarters. And
I think the Rockets might be
one of the
worst,
worst.
or maybe
And
the worst
so-
in the playoffs.
And then we were here Monday, and even though the Rockets had won game 4 on Sunday, the conversation, it felt to me, was about everything that's wrong with the Rockets and Durant, all of it. What has happened that makes you all of a sudden believe again?
Well, first of all, I'm an optimist, okay?
Well, this
So
is a
part of
zero-sum
me-
game. Like somebody
Part
wins.
of me wants to believe in the Rockets because I'm a lot of things on this show. I'm the Rockets guy.
Yeah,
I'm the Shingun guy.
yeah.
I'm also the Mayor Fair. And I got to tell you guys, when I see a team down 3-1, you know what time it is, fortunately.
What is this?
As much as I want to root for my guy, Şengün.
You didn't.
Calling it?
Fellas, this one's over.
Wow.
What a turn.
It's not going to be pretty. You know, I like to think I know a little bit about basketball, but I'm willing to admit.
Wow, that's a heavy pour.
Thank you.
It's iced tea.
That is a heavy. It's like a sip.
LeBron James probably knows a little bit more than I do. And he knows
Thanks, buddy.
that the only way the Rockets can win is off of turnovers. And LeBron had 8 turnovers, led to, not his turnovers, but in general, 30 points.
Cheers.
Between the rebounding and the turnovers, I don't think my Rockets have a chance. And hey, you know what?
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes.
I don't think you've said the words gentleman sweep yet. And so I think some of the audience might be a little confused.
Yeah.
Confused? Why? Just because I put on glasses, took off my blazer, drinking iced tea, pretending it's bourbon? I'm not rooting for this to happen, but I think it will.
Yeah.
It's time for the Rockets, who decided to go a whole season without a point guard and just said, you know what?
Who needs a point?
Who needs a point guard? Granted, it's been going on since the beginning of basketball. Have a guy run the show. I think it ends tonight. It's been fun, Rockets.
Okay.
Wow.
We can leave it at
What
that.
a turn.
I'll be on the piano tomorrow.
Oh, do we? Oh,
I was wondering.
that is a
Something else.
real
There was a
betrayal of
part
your
to it.
Rockets if you play the piano for the gentleman sweep. I think actually Brew and I should be able to play it.
A betrayal of the Rockets, but a commitment to the truth.
Okay.
You need a point guard, okay? You could have signed Jose Alvarado. I told you to get Chris Paul. Moving on to lottery reform. I'll be honest with you, I'm about to do a read that I don't totally understand.
Okay.
This is convoluted.
Sean's referring to this new plan as, quote, an anti-tanking draft reform, okay? Here are the big highlights. It expands from 14 teams to 16 teams. The bottom 3 teams get worse than number 1 odds. You can't get number 1 back-to-back years. That doesn't work. And you can't get 3 straight top 5 picks.
Yeah.
You basically don't want to be really bad.
Right. So as somebody put on Twitter, the NBA thinks some teams are pretending to be bad, so they develop something that would punish the teams that are just actually bad.
That's a very good way to put it.
And I am here to... There are a lot of things about Adam Silver I like, and there are even more things about Adam Silver I respect. This would be a disaster and is not the way to fix this.
A disaster.
Wow.
Yes, because there are certain...
legitimately
There are
bad
certain teams that want to be good and are trying to win and are just bad.
But
no, hold on. This year is maybe not the example of it
Okay.
because, well, you know what? The Pacers would be a team, maybe, but
No,
this
the Pacers
year,
could have been not the
I'm trying to
Celtics,
think
but
of the teams that were tanking. Washington, Chicago,
Washington,
Utah.
the 3 worst teams, odds-wise: Washington, Indiana, Brooklyn, and Utah.
No, I get that. And so the Brooklyn was not trying. Brooklyn is just bad.
They're just letting guys go, though.
I understand that. But the point that I am trying to make is that there are certain teams where maybe this is the wrong year as an example.
I get it.
But they are trying to be good. They don't have the talent. They had an unlucky injury. One guy didn't pan out. One guy left in free agency. They're not a free agent destination, which, by the way, free agency basically is killed anyway. Like the biggest free agent this offseason was Miles Turner, because everybody just signs an extension and then gets traded.
Yeah.
And now if your team is stuck in that world, there's no path out of it. So here's my critique of Adam Silver on this. Have the courage of your convictions to simply say, hey, not trying to win will be drastically penalized.
What do you do?
It's drastically penalized in this.
No, but this is not drastically penalizing not trying to win. This is drastically penalizing being bad. There is a difference. You understand what I mean?
It's hard because so many teams, Utah's pulling guys out of the game in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Indiana just decided once they saw Halliburton go down, they're like, let's be bad. It feels like they decided it in the finals. Indiana could not have been the second worst team if they wanted to.
That is correct.
Don't you agree with that?
I agree.
Maybe Washington is just, and I think, you know what, there is some penalty to just being all-time poorly run.
But here's the question I would have. If you are Brooklyn twice has gone for it in the last 15 years. They traded for KG and Pierce. That didn't work out. They went for it in a way everyone thought would work out, or a lot of people thought would work out.
Sure.
In Durant, Harden, Kyrie. It blew up on them. Also, let's for a moment pretend Brooklyn is not in Brooklyn, it's in Memphis. You know what I mean? That it's not and now you are in a world where we had 5 first-round picks last year. None of them were great picks. None of them seemed to pan out. We weren't trying to lose. We traded for Michael Porter Jr., the best year of his career. We're just awful. What's our path? What is our path?
It's
the way I just think
it's the closest thing to relegation that the NBA can do.
But I just think, Brew, that the incentives now, what you're going to see is teams be like, wait a minute. We get the maximum possible lottery odds if we fall out of the play-in. We get an extra lottery ball, and again, there's only 1, 2, or 3. If we lose the first play-in game rather than the second play-in game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so now guys will just, unless you are going to make the rule, you know what? If it doesn't pass the smell test on trying, you're picking 30th this year. Run the risk and try me. You're going to have just a different level of manipulation. Teams will be manipulating to be the 9th worst team instead of the very worst team. Whatever it is, this doesn't fix it, and the teams that are trying, they just suck. Their fans have no path.
Well,
I don't like that.
You make some good points. There is the sunset clause, I guess they're calling it, where in 2029 they'll revisit. So this starts for the 2027 draft. In 2029, if it's gone awry and not working, they can change it or stick with it. So I think that's good. I do think this will end tanking. I'll tell you that. There is no benefit now to tanking. And you said try to be 9th. It's so hard to manipulate that level. So I do think it'll end tanking. And look, it's just the real. These teams that are at the bottom are just poorly run. Washington has been poorly run for decades, it feels like. Sacramento's poorly run. Chicago had Kobe White. I'm not saying he's a superstar, but we see he's got value. They had Ayo Dosunmu, who's, was a star a couple games ago for Minnesota. Like, these teams are badly run. And I say the West is better because the Western teams are better, have better front offices. And so
at the same time, the West is better, but the teams that we are now talking about, the next dynasties, went through a tanking process.
Correct.
Well, the Spurs that's how they got Duncan.
They tanked. Yeah, they're old school.
The Spurs had 3 straight. Castle was
straight
top 3
not
picks.
Number 1, but
or top 4 picks. Because Castle was 4th, Harper was 2nd, Wemby was 1st. Here,
I don't think the OKC
tanked for 2 years.
Moves.
OKC did.
They traded George for
and they sat a healthy
World Cup Wednesday up
and
next.
And they sat a healthy
Cristian Roldan.
SGA for half a year.
Joining us now, U.S. men's national team midfielder and Seattle Sounder, Cristian Roldan. A game coming up this weekend in Kansas City. Cristian, thanks for joining us. How are you feeling?
Yeah, excited. Back from my concussion protocol. Excited for another opportunity to get 3 points.
Nice.
So you said about the importance of the friendlies against Belgium and Portugal, give you idea of what you're capable of against big competition. Obviously, those games didn't go great as far as the result. But is there anything positive you can take away from those 2 games, or even something useful that didn't go well in those games in preparing you guys for the World Cup?
Yeah, minimizing mistakes is something that we need to take from those games. Obviously, the results didn't go our way. But we saw that the difference against these types of opponents is in front of goal, defensively and offensively. How can we be better, sound defensively in front of goal, and then take our chances against these top teams?
So you got a few more friendlies coming up in May. What do you, judging by the first two, obviously you guys didn't win those. What are you guys looking to do and learn in these upcoming friendlies?
Yeah, I think being able to manage the game, right? We're playing against another two really tough opponents in Senegal and Germany. It's going to be tough to play against them, and managing the game is going to be so important. Understanding the flows of the game and when to attack, the momentum shifts, all those things are going to play a huge factor when we go into the World Cup.
Coach Pochettino had if I was you, I would feel great about hearing this quote. So I want to play the quote and get your reaction to it. Take a listen.
It's what we need. And then we need player with confidence, with self-belief, with a little bit arrogance, with a little bit, being naughty, being competitive. And maybe Cristian Roldan is the example of, how if you want to build your perfect player, he has a little bit of everything.
A perfect player. Pretty good. What was your reaction when you heard that?
Well, humbling. He's coached Messi, Neymar, Mbappe. I mean, these guys are world class.
You are better than them. You are. It is official.
And to hear that, obviously, I mean, it's a humbling experience. I think my parents got a lot more out of that than I did, but altogether, I'm just proud to be part of the team right now, right? To have an opportunity to go to a World Cup. And then obviously when he says something like that, it definitely helps your case for sure.
So how anxious though is this time for you? You're obviously playing for your club team, the Sounders. You just dealt with a concussion, right? You're doing better on that, and congratulations. We're glad to hear that. But you've got your job, which is playing for the Sounders, also trying to prepare for the World Cup, making sure you're healthy, making sure you're on the team. Like, how is this stretch of time for you kind of personally and mentally? How do you deal with it?
Yeah, it's difficult. There's a lot of pressure going into it. This time around, I feel like I have a lot more invested and a lot more to lose, just because I've racked up a few more minutes with the national team, a few more starts with the national team over the last 6 months. And so I'm eager, I'm excited, I'm anxious. I'm ready for this to get going and hopefully give myself the best shot of making that squad.
Cristian, do you feel like there's an advantage for Team USA for the World Cup to be played in America? And if so, how big?
Yeah, huge advantage. Look, we play a lot of our friendlies here. A lot of teams, a lot of nations want to come to the United States to feel that type of energy. And we have a lot of pressure for sure, but I think that we have a lot of momentum, just being able to be at home on our home soil with the amount of support that we have. So I think we're all eager to get going, excited. But again, pressure is something that we're going to have to deal with, and it's time for us to make our moments and our memories like the people in the past have done.
The friendlies against Paraguay and Australia, who are in our group that we play again, got a little bit testy, a little bit physical, kind of got everyone's blood pressure up. Do you expect... Well, I have two questions. First of all, you see this in other sports. You see it in like baseball. You see it a little bit in basketball, where a little bit of, rough and tumble, a little extracurricular activity kind of will gel the team a little bit more. Did that happen at all? And do you expect the next games that when we play them to have a similar tenor?
It definitely made our team more cohesive. I think that we understood that we had each other's back after those two performances, after the brawl, after a tough Australian team. And to that point, now that we've faced Australia, Paraguay, and now that we've gotten results against them, it's going to be even tougher to play them in the World Cup. You know, it's like a series, right? Being able to play the same team multiple times, it becomes even tougher trying to beat those teams again.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend in Kansas City. Do you want another look at Nick's Lego that he insisted we brought out?
It's just supposed to be inspiration, that's all. It's just the World Cup trophy. I mean, you just envision yourself holding this. It's just pretty sick. I don't know.
This is like when your kid is like, hey,
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah.
I just
Lego.
Like, Christian's going to love this. I'm like, I don't know.
It's a major worldwide hobby. So
he's playing in the World Cup. I don't know if he loves your Legos.
Okay, whatever.
He had another one.
He said it was awesome.
He also made the ball that
Christian,
he didn't bring in.
Billy, I'm sitting here looking at it. It's a cool toy.
Thank you.
It's not a toy.
It
it's
is
a project.
cool.
Good luck to you, Christian.
Good luck. We'll see you all this summer rooting for you.
I agree. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
All right, man.
More First Things First after the break. It's First Things First, overtime. We're tied in regulation. Today, Wemby advances. Is Brew even more confident in his Spurs? Our Spurs, really, to be honest with you. Meanwhile, a new lottery proposal. First, we got to figure it out. And second, figure out if it's going to cure tanking. And finally, well, it's Wednesday. There's some cool stats coming up. I know everyone's like, no way. You can't make stats cool. Wrong. Parkins pulled it off.
Yeah, dude.
Alongside Chris Broussard, Kevin Wilds, Nick Wright, and Danny Parkins, the king of the cool stat.
Oh, thanks.
I've heard that the third stat that you've got in store for us might be the coolest stat ever in segment history.
It's pretty cool. I gotta say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I didn't even know it existed. So.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to introduce a new term to the lexicon.
By the way, watching these highlights, just to further make you mad maybe, you know what, that highlight right there, you know who the Rockets could have used this year? Drew Holiday. You think he would have?
Oh, man.
You think he would have been good for them?
Stabilize some things.
There. Yeah,
I think that, absolutely perfect.
I was actually thinking that watching that first round.
Right, Portland got him, and everyone's like, what are they doing? What they're doing is getting a champion and a leader and a point guard.
He'd have been great there.
Yeah.
Boston.
I mean, like, they would be
Yes, they need a point guard.
significantly better.
They need a point guard.
I mean, like, really.
I wanted to get Chris Paul.
Yeah.
He'd be better at this point.
Chris Paul is currently in LA. Sorry.
They should call him up for the game. Chris, what are you doing tonight?
Don't break 100 points. Tatum and Brown only had 2 points in the fourth. The team only had 11. Here's Tatum and Brown post-game.
There's a human element part of it, right? We're not perfect. After each game, a win and or a loss, we just it's a lot of things that we look back on and talk about that we could be better at. And tonight's no different.
They shot the ball better than us, which is doesn't happen a lot, but they shot the ball from three better than us, and we just gotta respond. It's the playoffs.
Parkins, how concerning was this loss for the Celtics?
Not concerning at all.
At all?
No, we live by the three, die by the three. Make or miss league. We've seen this from Boston so many times where they go cold and they lose a game that they're not supposed to because they're the more talented team. Or an entire series.
That's why it's concerning.
Right. Listen, if they are going to go cold for a prolonged stretch of time, sure, maybe the stat you showed earlier in the show, 9-7 in games where they're a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, and the rest at home playoff games, since Mazzulla's been the coach, there has been 36 home favorites of 10-plus points. The Celtics account, by the way, for 16 of those games, so shout out to them.
That's how good they are. Right.
They're 9-7. The rest of the league is 16-4. So the rest of the league wins 80% of those games. The Celtics, there it is.
Remember when you talked about the Celtics' home court advantage was funky for a while?
Right, but that's also, so that's part of it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I guess my point is, though, this is what they signed up for by design. Like, Brad Stevens just won Executive of the Year for 2 of the last 3 years. He built the team this way. 3 is worth more than 2. They are the analytic darlings of the league. They're going to shoot a bunch of threes. What bothers me about watching the Celtics, though, is I don't know why they don't get more criticism for the watchability of their style of play. Like, we spend a lot of time talking about the Thunder. The Thunder play defense and drive to the rim.
and flop.
There's some, but Luka flops, Brunson flops. Game 1, the Celtics shot 21 more threes than the Sixers. Game 2, 11 more threes. Game 3, 12 more. Game 4, 23 more. They went into that game last night having attempted 67 more three-pointers than Philly. And then finally Philly was like, we just got to shoot more. We got to even the math. And they outshot them 43-39 from 3. Which brings me to these 3 graphics. So only shooting 39 threes last night actually brings down Boston's average for three-point attempts in the game. They're shooting 46.5 threes. Yeah. That's the second most ever in the playoffs, ever. So what do? If they make them, they win. If they miss them, they lose. In their wins, 42% from 3. In their losses, they don't even crack 30. And this is where I don't understand why the criticism doesn't come their way. They don't drive to the basket. If you have a game in the playoffs where you shoot 13 of 50 from 3, which is what happened in Game 2, maybe you should take more than 6 out of 10 shots from inside the arc. That's the second lowest percentage of shots in the paint in the last 5 years, trailing only last year's Celtics. So this is just who they are by design.
But that's why it's so that's why it's concerning.
But it won a title for them, Nick.
It won a title.
This is who they are. They will live by the 3 and die by the 3.
Conference finals with Jaylen Brown, and they got 1 championship.
And they have.
But that's just what they do.
But it doesn't. This is where you're right. It is what they do. The question I have is it what they should do? And the answer that I have is, if they get clipped early this year, it will not be who they are next year.
But then why did they change after last year?
Because last year was they could say it's an aberration. It was 2 games where we were up 20 against the Knicks. We blew them. We got unlucky, and Tatum got hurt. Maybe we would have won anyway. So they're not there. And then this year, Brew, I understood this strategy during the regular season with Tatum being out.
That's what I was
the
gonna say.
best players out.
You kind of had to go that route. All you had was Jaylen as far as somebody that could beat you off the dribble.
Right.
Now you got 2 guys.
You have the players you have added to the roster, your role players, specialize in this type of thing. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Derek White. This year's been a bad shooter, actually. It's been a problem for them, but he's good at that. So it's the type of team you build. But I fervently believe if they were to somehow lose this series, but also if they were to lose any time before the conference final or before the NBA finals, given how the East is looking, it will be a major upset, and there will be a real conversation in Boston of, are we underselling how good we can be without playing the ultimate analytic ball? And the argument against it is the team who they are pushing up against in a lot of these stats are the Rockets with Morey and James Harden. I defend the Rockets playing that way. You know why? They were trying to win the conference in an era of the KD Steph Warriors. You were never going to be the better team. You had to add variance. And now maybe you still think they shouldn't have done it, but my point is, they felt like, man, head to head, it's the most talented team ever. We're not going to win going, shot for 2 for 2. So we are trying to add variance. And if the Celtics play your Thunder in the finals, Danny, and lose the first 2 games in OKC, it's like, this team's deeper and better than us. Then fine, shoot 73s in Game 3 and see what happens.
It is unwatchable.
I agree with that, but
it is unwatchable.
They didn't even shoot that
only 39 for them is not a lot.
In the cold fourth quarter, they weren't bombing
2 for
threes
8.
the whole time.
No, that's not why. It's not why they lost.
It could have just been a cold night. Period.
No, and listen, they lost last night because this was what their final 7 minutes looked like. They went 0 for 14.
Yeah.
But the general point of, and you scoffed. If they lose another series as a huge favorite because, man, where they spun the wheel, they ended up on a cold shooting week, that is a squandering of the overall talent of the roster.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be a personnel move or Missoula would have. I don't think there's any stone left unturned with Missoula's playbook. I don't know if they. bring in new sets, but I don't think it's a personnel thing, do you?
No, I think they have decided that their offensive identity is bombing from three.
Brown and Tatum can get to the rack at will. They can penetrate whenever they want to and get a mid-range jumper or get to the rim. So you could do something as simple as that maybe they would go get a big who can post a little, and Vucevic can do a little bit of that. So it's not really a personnel thing. It's a strategic thing. I agree with you, Danny, and that's why Steve Kerr said recently, who's benefited from the three as much as any coach, that he would consider getting rid of it because now everybody's playing this, for the most part, the same way.
When the Warriors
the same
did it,
exact way.
If the Warriors do it and they have the three of the four greatest shooters in the history of the sport, I'm like, yeah, you should.
And
this
when the
team
Warriors,
should not be doing
when
this.
they won most of those championships, those first three, they still shot a lot of mid-range jumpers, Clay and Steph, Durant, obviously, and they got backdoor cuts and all type. They weren't just a three-point bombs away team.
Okay. I still have them going to the finals.
I have them winning the championship, but I don't think they need to do this when they're huge favorites.
Knicks beat the Hawks. Brunson had 39 points. Danny, you were a little bit down on the Knicks, and they won back-to-back games by double digits, 15 or more, I think.
Yeah, you had the Hawks in 7, right?
Hawks in 7, yeah.
And I think after the Hawks won game 2, he called us all fools, I think is what he said. He came out here and was like, I'm seeing the league clearly.
You haven't really done that.
You're all fools, and
seeing the league.
I know.
I like that.
Because he's not.
The whole thing.
When the Thunder waltz to another title, tortoise in the hair. I'll be there at the end. Last night was very impressive by the Knicks. And is that like long-term sustainable because you'd want Karl Anthony Towns taking more shots? No, but like last night with how their defense was playing, their defense was suffocating. Atlanta couldn't do anything, and Brunson was hot, so you ride the hot hand. I still think this is a flawed team that I will be very surprised if they win the East. And if they don't win the East, the season is a failure based on the words of their owner, who said it was finals or bust, and the actions of their owner by firing Tibbs. So I still think ultimately I will be proven correct, and I still do think it's going 7. I think Atlanta will figure out a way to win Game 6 at home. I know Atlanta's wins in this series are both by 1 point, and the other games.
I agree with you, by the way. I think Atlanta wins Game 6.
So Atlanta wins Game 6, and then anything can happen in the Garden. McCollum can get hot. Jalen Brunson can go 10 of 26 like he did. That game last night was the best version of the Knicks because Brunson was hot and their defense was incredible. But on a night where Brunson is inefficient and you're not getting Towns involved, it's not that dissimilar to the Pistons, who are a very one-dimensional team.
But they're very the Pistons don't even have an option of a Karl Anthony Towns. And Anunoby can score. I mean, the Knicks have several guys who have been close to 20-point scorers throughout their career. That includes Bridges and Anunoby. So they got a lot more options. I admit they shouldn't be as Brunson-centric. And yesterday, he was, getting a lot of his buckets in transition. As you mentioned, their defense was strong. Also cutting to the basket and, coming off screen. So it wasn't just dribble, create my own shot. Fourth quarter, they did a little more of that because that's what he's great at. But the Hawks don't have, as great as Jalen Johnson is, and I like him a lot, McCollum is their only guy you can give it to consistently, and he goes and just can get you a bucket.
Did you have Jalen Johnson on an All-NBA team?
Yeah, I had him third team, and not deservedly, but he's a, I don't want to say glue guy. He's going to get you close to a triple-double every night.
This could have been a moment for him.
He's not like a go-get-it. He's not a number one option by any stretch.
The comp would be Jalen Johnson, odd comp, but it's the right comp, I think, Andre Iguodala. Where if he's your best offensive player,
he does a little
your
more
team's
as far
not
as the
going to be
but that's true.
The glue guy is underselling, his report. Exactly. Good defender, good passer, but good defender, good passer, good rebounder, gets you 20 a game if he gets the opportunities, but isn't ever going. If he is your go-to scorer, your team has a very clear ceiling, like Iggy's teams did when he was with the Sixers, and.
You can see he doesn't even have that.
And the reason the Hawks won the 2 games they did was because for those 2 nights, CJ. Yeah. Like those 2 nights, CJ McCollum was the number 1 guy. I do think you were wrong about the Knicks because I think you undersold them. I don't think last night, though, was their path to getting, forget to the NBA Finals, just to the conference finals. Because I think Knicks-Celtics is the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's going to be
I think that's going to be the series. I understand. Right. No, I know. The Cavs are lurking. But the Knicks' path to beating Boston is Karl Anthony Towns has to have the best series of his career. Because that is the only matchup edge they have. Like, Jalen Brunson is better than either of the Celtics guards. I understand that. So I guess that's a matchup edge. But he will be hunted defensively, and they might just have Jaylen Brown guard him some of the time. Certainly Derek White can guard him and minimize him to a degree. The Celtics have nobody to deal with Towns. And I would want Towns to feel like I'm in a rhythm and I'm getting going. They obviously want Mikal Bridges to get going, but it's not for lack of opportunities for Mikal Bridges. He's getting kind of the same opportunities he gets in the regular season. He's not playing well. Towns, honestly, Brew, needs to be 16 shots a game in that Celtics series.
I agree.
And I think that is at least 16 a game. So I didn't love that he took 20 less shots than Brunson yesterday.
5:15 on a Wednesday, which means you're in store for one of the cooler segments, if not the coolest segment that involves really analytical statistics that are kept in a briefcase that glows when you open it up. It's time now for another edition of Packed Stats. Cool Stats.
Indeed it is.
They are among the coolest Wilds. Thank you very
Excellent.
much. And you are the glue guy.
Wow, thank you.
Wow, that's a bit of an insult. I think
not
he's
really.
the star
I like
player.
it.
He's the leader of the show. He's the glue guy.
Glue guy, I like that.
Jack of all trades.
That is
Get
a
to the
role
stats.
for
You know what else is cool? Yeah, good advice. You know what else is cool?
What?
Respecting your elders. What's up?
Very cool. I like that, Danny.
But here's the thing. You said doesn't matter that Victor Wembanyama hasn't played in the playoffs yet. He's the best. Well, Victor Wembanyama is off to a historic start to his playoff career. If we could put it up, thank you. Over 80 points, 35 or more rebounds, and 15 or more blocks in his first 4 career playoff games. Alonzo Mourning, I gave that one to you for free.
Why'd you give us Alonzo?
I like it.
I'll tell you why. Can you guess the other 2, Nick?
Are they before or after Alonzo Mourning?
One before, one after.
The one before, I'm going to guess it's Kareem.
No, sir.
Wrong. Is
I'm
it-
going to give it away for you.
Hold on. Elijah.
There's a theme. He's respecting his elders. David Robinson and Tim Duncan.
Oh, I like that.
The San Antonio, imagine being a Spurs fan. You have a big man, you're making a playoff debut. How is the big man going to translate? All 3 of them have dominated right out of the gate. And Wemby, keep in mind, through the first 4 career playoff games, one of those games he only played 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Really played 3. Yeah.
Right, really played 3. So his playoff career off to a historic start and in very, very good company.
A cool start to Packed Stats.
So this is the one of the things we discussed earlier was for the greatest centers ever, what they all have in common is they were competing for championships almost right off the bat. Like, not only were they either MVP or top 3 MVP, Kareem won a title in year 2, Russell won a title as a rookie, Wilt was battling with Bill Russell in the conference finals right off the bat. Akeem, everybody forgets this, Akeem made the finals in year 2 and was unbelievable, was the best player on that team with respect to Sampson. Shaq made the finals in year 3. Duncan, who's not a center but a big man, champion in year 2. And with Bill Walton, for the Blazers team that you always compare the Spurs team to, Brew, they won the title in year 3. So, like, the best bigs of all time were on this path Wemby's on, which makes it maybe not as unprecedented as we were discussing it as.
Well, the one thing about those bigs, they all had great guards with them. Like in their, like Russell had Cousy and a host of other guys. Kareem had Oscar when he won it, Oscar Robertson. Olajuwon had not a guard, but Ralph Sampson at his height before he got hurt, who was phenomenal at that time. Shaq had Penny pre-injury when he looked like he was going to be all-time great. Duncan had David Robinson he was still a great player. Walton, we keep coming back to the Walton comp because it's very similar. Young team from the not missing the playoffs to the championship. So maybe that's
just real quick before you get to the next one.
We got 2 more cool stats.
I know,
quickly.
but I just wonder if either Castle or Harper could in 5
Eventually
years
they
be
will
looked
be,
at
but
like
these
Penny.
guys will
But
be.
Penny was only in
They
year
not
2.
Penny. I don't know if they Penny.
The Air
was
Castle
phenomenal.
could be.
Dylan Harper's going to be good. But you know what else is cool, guys?
What?
Finishing the job. Brew, the first one was for you. Nick, this is for you. LeBron James, your guy. 17-3 in his career in a closeout game at home. Hasn't lost the opportunity to finish a series at home, closeout game at home, since 2008. His 3 losses, 2006, 2007, 2008. So it's been a long time since LeBron has let one of these opportunities slip by, which makes you think, is tonight a must-win for the Lakers?
It's the opposite.
Well, Rockets puncture the shield of that stat, believe that they can do it.
No,
all of a
because
sudden
then they get another home closeout game in Game 7 if they want it.
But less rest in between, and they would know that they'd be able to do it.
Do you think it's a must-win?
I think that if the Lakers don't get it done tonight, the Rockets absolutely will win the series.
We'll win the series.
Yes, we'll win the series.
We should have. Then you know what? Can I tell you how I know? Sorry.
Cool.
I apologize on the front end. You know how I know Danny doesn't actually believe that?
What's that?
If he really believed that, he wouldn't have told us that 19 minutes into the segment.
I'm sorry, did we do Lakers Rockets?
No, but we would have.
The first 2 stories?
If you really, with your chest, felt like the winner of tonight wins the series, we would have found a way to do it.
I did. In a cool stat.
I can't.
Some people would say it's burying the lead, but I decided to do it at 5:19.
Time now for one of the coolest stats in the history of the segment.
Because you guys know what else is cool?
What?
I'd like to introduce you to Game 5 Harden. You don't even know about Game 5 Harden.
No.
Most 30-point games
6, Harden.
in a Game 5 since 2016. Brew, I'm not here to talk about Game 6 or Game 7 because tonight is Game 5. I don't know, is LeBron good, Nick? He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's got 8 30-plus point Game 5s.
Well, he's got way more. Is 8 in the last 10 years.
Yeah, in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is Giannis pretty good?
Great player.
He's a great player. Who's the name in the middle there, buddy?
James Harden.
James Harden.
Game 5 Harden.
Game 5 Harden. You didn't know about Game 5 Harden.
It's like Game 6 Clay.
That's why I'm here to tell you and educate the people on Game 5 Harden, Brew. He's going to save the Cavs tonight.
I mean, listen,
He probably will.
Put respect on his
expect
name.
James Harden to be awesome.
Love
tonight.
James Harden.
This is the type of playoff game he's dominated in his whole career.
Was that Sixers game? Was that Game 5? He had that huge game?
Huge game. You gave me the Game 5 stat the other day. Winner of Game 5 goes on to win
It's
the
the
series.
following 2 games to worry about.
Yeah,
that's
but
when
they
Donovan
win
Mitchell comes
85% of the time if you win Game 5.
Yeah.
81.5.
81.5.
Yeah, so James Harden, take care of business tonight. They're asking a lot of you. It was supposed to be Donovan Mitchell, but he's having a weird playoff series. So Harden gets it done tonight. Then Mitchell
30
wakes
points for Harden tonight?
30 points for Harden.
You know what? I think that's totally on the board.
Oh, man.
I think it's Wednesday. Not much to do on Tuesday night in Cleveland anyway. This is the type of playoff game he's excellent.
I don't know about 30, Danny. I'm going to
20
say
and 10.
26 and 10. Nice.
They're all Harden
Yeah,
guys.
great game. Great game.
Nobody, again.
You're all Harden
No
guys.
one's ever denied
But
he
then-
doesn't have some awesome playoff games.
He has plenty of awesome.
It's just that they're intermixed amongst the worst playoff games you've ever seen from a superstar in your entire life.
Not in Game 5.
Game 5 Harden.
Game 5 Harden.
Cool
Get
stat.
to know him.
Is tanking a thing of the past? Danny, what do you think?
Don't think this is the solution to the problem.
They should have just flattened the odds. It's simple. Simple.
All right, welcome back to the OT. Thrilled to be joined by Yahoo Sports NBA writer Kevin O'Connor. Let's talk tanking. According to a report by Shams Charania, the NBA is set to reveal a new anti-tanking proposal for next season that they are calling the 3-2-1 lottery. Now, the 3-2-1 system relates to the number of lottery balls that each team would get, but here are the broad strokes. 16 teams would be eligible. The bottom 3 teams actually get worse odds for the number 1 pick than teams 4 through 10. You can't get the number 1 pick in back-to-back years. You can't get 3 straight top 5 picks. There are more opportunities for punishment. There are some things with pick protection. So there's a lot of nuances here, but those right there are the broad strokes that we'll keep up on the screen a lot so you guys can relate back to them because it is new and it is confusing. KOC, thank you very much for joining us. Do we like this solution for tanking in the NBA?
It's an upgrade, Danny. It's an
something.
upgrade over what we have. It's something. And I think ultimately for the league right now, tanking is an abomination. That's just what it is, where you have a third of the league wanting to lose games. That is not good for anybody. It's not good for fans watching from home. It's not good for the paying fans in the arena. It's not good for player development. I mean, people talk about the Wizards trading for Anthony Davis and Trae Young. Nobody ever I'm not playing those guys, but nobody ever really talks about the fact that they were lowering their minutes for some of their best young players down the stretch of the season. It's not good for their development, not good for the coaches. It's not good for literally anybody except for front offices that want to increase their chances at a higher pick. But the overall benefit for some team is non-existent in comparison to the amount lost overall for the good of the product of the NBA. And so I think this 3-2-1 lottery proposal is overall an upgrade. Does it have its flaws? Yes, everything can be gamed. Every single system that you put out there has some issues, which we can get into, but I think it's a clear upgrade over the current 14% flattened odds at the top. And I like the fact that the bottom three teams would have slightly worse odds as well, because that incentivizes winning.
So I honestly feel a little guilty because I called the tanking situation a crisis for the NBA, and they are now doing something about it. And I don't like what they're doing. So I feel a little bit like a hypocrite. There is a sunset clause here, and they are leaving open the opportunity for them to tweak it. Here is a prediction that I will make to you at 5:29 p.m. the day this is reported. When they actually institute the rule, this will not be the rule. Like there will be tweaks to it because, and you alluded to some of it, there are some unintended consequences of, well, would you rather get into the play-in that 7-8 game, lose that game, get into the lottery, and then try to go on a run? Like, in this system, the Orlando Magic could make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and win the lottery. Like, that feels like a potential loophole in the system. And what I would like them to figure out a way to do, and I have some suggestions, incentivize winning. Don't punish losing. Because some of these teams are legitimately bad. And given the things that they have done to allow players to re-sign with their current teams, the only way that the small market team is going to get the great player is through the draft. So this, to me, feels like a method where the unintended consequence is going to be the bad teams that are just straight up bad are going to have even less of an opportunity to get good, and the gap between the haves and the have-nots would actually grow.
And that's possible, for sure. There's a chance of that. And I know people point to, say, the San Antonio Spurs. People say, well, the Spurs are here as the darling team in the NBA because they tanked. Yes, correct. They did tank their way into great odds to get Victor Wembanyama. And yes, they weren't good the next 2 years either, getting Dylan Harper last year and then Stephon Castle the year prior to that. But Castle was the fourth pick. Like, there were three players drafted ahead of him. Risa Shea, the Hawks could have had Castle. Number two, Sarr going to the Wizards. They could have had Castle, and Sarr could be good. And then number three, the Rockets. We see all the issues with Reed Shepherd and his lack of size. He goes third. So these teams that did get the top picks didn't end up with the player who might be the guy helping put the Spurs over the top alongside Victor Wembanyama. Good players are found everywhere in the draft. And like, you can point to the outliers like the Jokic's in the second round, or the Draymond Greens, the Jimmy Butlers, or the SGAs in the late lottery. Like, there's guys that are found everywhere. To me, like, I do think there could be a side effect here of this rule if it's put in by the NBA, where the Wizards with the best odds this year might fall to the 10th pick. But what if this so happens that their scouting department, their general manager, has the guy at the 10th pick that ends up being one of the 2 or 3 best players in the draft? That happens literally every single year. There are all-stars found outside of the top 3. And so I think this removes the incentive to lose, and it also does create the incentive to actually try to compete and build a team that's not at the bottom of the barrel. The Wizards are like are they actually the worst team in the NBA? Are they actually a 17-win team when they had Anthony Davis and they had Trae Young and they had a bunch of promising young players who weren't getting as many minutes as you would hope down the stretch? I'm not convinced some of these teams, including Indiana at number 9 with 19 wins this year, were nearly as bad as they appeared to be. I think they were bad purposely, and that's where that relegation zone, taking away one lottery ball from those bottom 3 teams, I think that's going to reveal a lot about how bad some of these teams really are and will create a more competitive overall regular season.
Well, there's no question that that would be a step in the right direction. And again, at least they are doing something. Those players that you're talking about that they're trying to tank to get, they come out of college basketball. More big picture news for the sport. As first reported by Pete Thamel, the NCAA will expand its men's and women's basketball tournaments to 76 teams starting next season. Thamel writes the deal still needs to be formalized, but those are just formalities. So this is happening. KOC, do you think this is a good idea, a 76-team March Madness?
I don't love it. This just feels like a money grab for the NCAA overall. I think it eliminates kind of the snub that doesn't make it into the first 4. Now you get a first 12 with 24 teams. I think it's going to hurt the enjoyment for certain people and filling out their brackets. There are more casual college basketball fans that tag along for March Madness. I don't love it on the surface. I didn't love expansion for the playoffs with the NFL when that happened either. I had my questions with the NBA with the play-in beyond the pandemic year when it seemed necessary to do that. Sometimes it's nice when the playoffs feel exclusive rather than everybody's involved. 76 just feels like too much for what's already a golden product with March Madness.
And I understand that it will still get to, by the time we get to Thursday, it'll be a 64-team tournament. So this is all just the precursor stuff. But with the world of NIL, where we have seen year over year over year, fewer upsets early, like it is becoming more Goliath v. Goliath late, which we saw in this Elite Eight and Final Four. The first couple of days of the tournament already feel less special. Now, if you're going to say, we got 12 on Tuesday, 12 on Wednesday, and then those Thursday and Friday games are going to be a bunch of blowouts. It's watering down the worst part of the tournament by expanding it even further. We don't need this. It's a terrible idea. And they're even saying in the reporting that this isn't as much of it's not going to be a huge financial boom. It's just to get more at-large invitations for big-time conferences. They have enough. Like, we've seen years where 8, 9, 10 teams from conferences have made it into the tournament. They don't need to get 50% of a conference, 60% of a conference into the college basketball tournament. Like, bigger isn't always better. And these first 4 games, which will now become the first 12 games, no one is going to care about them until we get to the tournament of 64. So I just don't see who this benefits.
I think you're spot on, Danny. I mean, the Goliath v. Goliath, it's going to turn into that even more so moving forward. And look, that has its own benefits. Sometimes you get 2 heavyweights facing off in the Sweet 16 instead of the Cinderella, but I feel like over time we're going to miss the Cinderella.
Listen, I completely agree. But all right, we solved college basketball and tanking. Very productive segment. But coming up next, back to the NBA playoffs. KOC's vote for MVP, Victor Wembanyama. They're already moving on to the second round. Are they ready to win a title? It's next on the OT. Welcome back to the OT, hanging out with Kevin O'Connor from Yahoo. Last night, the Spurs closed out their opening round series against the Blazers. What we like to call the old gentleman's sweep. Wemby, kind of pedestrian by his standards, still massive impact. 17-14 with a casual 6 blocks. Here's Wemby after the first round series win.
Our identity, great. We've kept trusting the game plan, and what I like is we resorted to going back to the game plan and going back to trusting each other in moments where it was hard. So that's a statement in how much we trust each other and how much we trust the process.
Kevin, does this look like a team ready to win a title?
I'd say yes. The Spurs look ready for the Thunder. They look ready to get through them or at least make it super competitive and go toe-to-toe. And I think that's because they've won in different ways in this first round. They've won in different ways all season. But everybody knows what Victor Wembanyama can do on the defensive end of the floor. Like, that's why he was the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. That goes without saying what he does. The way he causes teams to have less chances at the rim, forces them into more mid-range attempts. He just shapes the floor on the defensive end. You see the stats on screen, how with Wemby on the floor in the first round against the Blazers took only 21% of their shots at the rim compared to 30% of their shots when Wemby was off the floor. But I think with Wemby's impact, it's the offensive end that so often gets overlooked, and this was part of the conversation with the MVP race. 25 points per game doesn't cover it, and we saw that again in the first round against Portland. Their offensive rating significantly better with Wemby out there on the floor, but also the way in which that he was creating quality shots for San Antonio. Their mid-range percentage, the percentage of shots from mid-range dropped from 41% with him off the floor to 25%. They're getting more quality three-pointers, more open at-rim attempts. The key difference, Danny, is you see Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper basically doubling their at-rim attempts and their kickouts to the corner three. That's because Wemby opens the floor. That's because of the attention he draws inside. And I think the fact this translated in the first round against a defense that was number 3 in defensive rating in the second half of the year bodes well for them moving forward in the postseason, regardless of the defense they're facing.
So I will still pick the Thunder if that ends up being the matchup. But of course it's possible. I think that this is the ultimate you have to throw out the rule book type of guy. He's 7'5", and he's the best defensive player and one of the best offensive players, and he has an amazing young team around him. We already have now seen Dylan Harper have a 27-10 playoff game, but he's not a top 3 player on the team yet. De'Aaron Fox has come through. Stephon Castle is spectacular. So they have this ability they won 4 out of 5 with the Thunder in the regular season. I think the bracket has opened up pretty nicely for them because if the Nuggets do get through, they're going to have to play a grueling 7-game series in order to do it and then turn around and go right to San Antonio and start a series where the Spurs will have at least 6 days, depending on when the round 2 series starts, of rest advantage in that spot. So I think everything has broken right for San Antonio. They got lucky that Wembanyama wasn't hurt more when he fell to the floor. So am I picking them to win the title? No. Reasonable minds can disagree, and it would be an amazing series between the Thunder and the Spurs. But I think if you're saying they can't win it anymore, I don't even really know what the argument is.
Wemby is that special as a player, and they have the other guys that are going to do it. In the game, he suffered the concussion. Castle went off. In the game he was out, Harper went off. And then in the game Wemby came back, it wasn't Harper. I mean, De'Aaron Fox had a big game. Julian Champagnie had a very good game as well. It was different guys every single night for San Antonio, and I think that's the formula you need to beat a team like Oklahoma City, because OKC, it's SGA, but they have other guys who can have big nights as well, and San Antonio has that same exact quality.
All right, let's go to Boston, back to the Eastern Conference, where the 76ers avoided elimination, 113-97 over the Celtics. Embiid was spectacular, 33 points, his second game back from the appendectomy. Tatum and Jaylen Brown, nowhere to be found in the fourth quarter. Here's Sixers star Tyrese Maxey after the big win.
Our fans deserve a win at home. You know what I mean? We lost a tough one, then we got blown out the water. So we deserve to go out there and fight. After the performance that we put on last time in front of our fans, that was a disgrace and it was unacceptable. So I plan on making sure my teammates go out there and we fight and scratch and we claw. We try to get another W.
What a great quote for the Philly sports fan. That's just red meat to the base. Kevin, are you starting to think that the Sixers could win this series?
Not really. I think Boston, it's the same story as it's been all year long with them. Has always been the story with them. When they shoot the three well, they win a lot, and when they don't, they lose a lot. This season, they are 27-0 during the regular season when they shot 40% or higher from three, 41-6, basically a 72-win pace when they shot 35% or higher. 2-0 in the playoffs at 40% or higher, 3-0 in the playoffs against Philly, 35% or higher, 0-2 below 35%. I think for the Celtics, it comes down to that, Danny. But at the same time, if you are giving Philly a chance to win the next 2 games, have a 3-1 comeback, Embiid sure did look a lot better in Game 5 than he did in Game 4. playing lower and pick and rolls, defending drop coverage, staying closer to the basket. Big difference for him defensively after he looked a bit lost in game 4. And then offensively, the team lacked flow in game 4. It felt like things were meshing better with his bruising style, with his skill, combined with the speed of Maxey and Edgecombe.
Yeah, it was a novel concept for the 7-footer. Go closer to the basket. But honestly, Boston, when the game 2 for the Celtics really broke my brain. They 13 of 50 from 3. Attack the rim. Your point is obviously correct. It is how Boston does it. The only way they lose the series is if they go cold, which they did against the Knicks last year, and they lost the series. So do I think that will happen? No. But start playing with your food a little bit. You start messing around. You start letting a less talented team get healthy, get some confidence, start figuring out their own math. They took 43 threes last night to your 39. That increases the variance for them. So I obviously am picking Boston in this spot. I think they're better than Philly. But that version of Paul George, who could play 40 minutes, and with Maxey, who's a superstar who can win you a game, obviously with Embiid, Edgecombe, I do think that this series is live now, and Boston should be mad at itself for allowing it to get to that spot. There's no reason they should have lost that game. If you're having a cold night from 3, go to the rim.
100% agree with you. And that's where sometimes you wish with Boston's offense, they'd have a bit more variety in what they do in the half court instead of being so 3-point reliant. That's what leads to nights like this where you just have nothing going if the shots aren't falling. And I think for Boston, this is where you're kind of feeling the loss of last year, Kristaps Porzingis, losing Al Horford, lacking a bit of that veteran experience in the front court. But at the same time, we did see Peyton Pritchard have a big game in this series. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can both play from the mid-range. They were not great in that game either, getting into anything. And I think with Philly, like you said, Boston is the more talented team. But when Embiid looks like the MVP, as he did in Game 5, forcing a Game 6, it sure does close the talent gap when you consider Maxey's an all-NBA talent. Edgecombe, top 3 Rookie of the Year candidate this year. He's been sensational start to finish. And then you have Paul George looking rejuvenated, some pretty good role players on that team as well. The talent gap shrinks a lot, and that's where you give Philly a chance to extend this to a Game 7 and possibly even have a 3-1 comeback. But at the end of the day, Boston is the better team. They should win one of these 2 games, and I'd be shocked if they don't.
I'm kind of rooting against it because the style of play, honestly, it offends my basketball sensibilities. Never thought I'd be rooting for a Philly team in a playoff spot, but it really does, you go to the basket if you're having a cold night. Huge game tonight. LeBron and the Lakers taking on the Rockets. Closeout, LeBron has been absolutely spectacular. We'll discuss if we expect him to get it done coming up on the OT. All right, we have some breaking news here at First Things First. Todd Archer at ESPN, the first to report that George Pickens has, in fact, signed his franchise tag, which opens up a couple of interesting possibilities. Of course, Pickens last year was an absolute monster for Dallas. They gave up a 3rd-round pick for him, and he had a career year across the board. He had over 1,400 yards. He had 93 catches, and he had the 9 touchdowns. So now he is locked in at just over $27 million, fully guaranteed for this upcoming season. And you would think, is Dallas actually in a position to have a normal contract offseason with a star player? It was weird with Dak. They ended up signing him. It was weird with CD. They ended up signing him. It was really weird with Micah, and they ended up infamously trading him. Now, George Pickens agreeing to this, in theory, opens up a couple of possibilities. You could now extend George Pickens to a long-term deal working off of the $27 million fully guaranteed figure. Stephen Jones and the Cowboys say they have no intention of doing that, which to me is bizarre, given you gave up a 3rd-round pick for him. You would think if he has a career year, you'd be interested in committing to the guy long-term. Okay, fine. Dallas maybe wants to keep the carrot out there in front of George Pickens. So there's not going to be an extension. The next part of this is going to be, how unhappy is George Pickens and David Mulugeta, his power agent, who of course repped Micah Parsons. Mulugeta got a long-term deal for Parsons with the Packers and the trade to Dallas. Is George Pickens happy playing under the franchise tag? I'd be a little surprised, but the Cowboys say they have no intention of trading George Pickens, just like they did with Micah Parsons. So my gut tells me, because it's Dallas, as the world turns in Jerry Jones land, this is not the last we've heard of this story, but for now, it's actually a bit of normalcy. We extended a franchise tag to a player, and he agreed to it. No holdouts, no weird social media posts, just a one-year deal locking in, which is arguably the best wide receiver duo in the NFL with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Thanks to Kevin O'Connor. We're back tomorrow. First things first, and the OT.